Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and do you have any idea what this little heart is used for? It is a old vintage pattern, and it is a lot of fun to make, and it keeps all of our sewing needles. So all of our hand needles and pins can be kept in this little heart. It's closed, it's safe, and it's fun, and it can be made in any size. I'm going to share with you my pattern for this size, which will work in a 10-inch square, but I'll also show you how to make your own size. I like this particular template because it fits 10-inch squares of fabric, which is a great cut. We have pre-cuts of that size. So for this, we are going to need 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of felt. It could be felt, it could even be flannel. I like felt, it's a little bit thicker and I don't have to worry about it fraying. This one just happens to have texture to it, and I did just get it at my local fabric store. So I have 2 10-inch pieces of fabric. I'm going to need that template, and I am cutting it out. So when we look at it, we have 4 hearts, but one heart has a little tab on it. I am going to stabilize 1 piece of fabric, and I am using a medium weight fusible interfacing. You can even use a lightweight. So one side, if you feel it, it has little dots on it, and that's the glue side. The other side is the non-glue side. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to glue a piece onto the back of the fabric. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to trace all the way around this piece onto the piece that I fused. Now one piece is going to be the inside and one piece is going to be the outside. I'm going to choose the black to be the inside. Once those lines are drawn, I'm going to find that center mark. So if you want, you can put a hole in your template or just do some straight lines. And I'm going to cut a little line right there. That's all I need, just enough that I'm going to be able to work with that later. Now let's sandwich these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to be able to go to the machine and stitch this. Now I would recommend stitching this with a smaller stitch. Bring that down to about a 2. The reason is we have all of these little curves to go around. And the smaller stitches make it easier to go around, and will also make it easier to turn this when we need to. This little hole is going to be a turning hole. That interfacing is going to stabilize it, but also give us that little area we can turn. Just kind of cut this out and get rid of all that extra. And I'm going to snip really close into each one of these little points. So just take a little pair of scissors, and we want to snip about maybe 2 threads to that end. And I'm snipping each one of those little areas, even to this area where we have that tab. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 where we have that tab. Now I can take the pinking shears and I'm going to cut around, leaving about 1/4 of an inch. You can, of course, just use regular scissors for that if you'd like. Once that's all trimmed off, I'm going to be able to turn it right side out from this little hole and just smooth out all of those little curves. We're going to be able to take that to the iron and press it. We're going to take some of that fusible interfacing and we're going to just place it underneath so that the sticky part is facing up, and then we're going to be able to press that. And that's going to seal that little hole for us so we do not have to do any hand stitching. Now that that little hole is sort of glued closed, we're going to be able to do a row of stitching all the way around. That's going to keep it nice and flat as well. Now we're going to work on that center piece. We're going to use that same template. So I'm going to be able to trace around that. So once I've done that one shape, just take that and just rotate it a little bit and come in, and we're going to cut off this little tab. I do want to cut this piece smaller than this piece. So I'm going to cut within this measurement. I'm going to match it up, and if it's too big, trim down a little bit more. I'm going to stitch from that one point, straight, point, straight, point, straight. You're going to be able to see that template where I'm just going from line to line. And I don't need to go into that tab. I just need to stop and start in each one of these little points. What's going to happen is that is going to cover that little hole that we filled, and it's going to give it some nice shape. This is designed so we're going to be able to put our sewing needles or even straight pins in. We could use this for cross stitch, hand stitching, whatever we'd like. So if we wanted to spruce this up a little bit, we could number each one of these little sections. Could be hand needles or sewing machine needles, so we can identify them. From here, we are going to need to press it. So we're going to take that center seam and press it right in half. And we're going to press it so that we're looking at this inside. This seam that we just pressed is going to match the center line. Fold it so that it matches, and then when we lie that down, we're going to have the heart shape. So we have that tab that's going to come over. I'm going to steam this and hold it till it cools down, so it's going to keep that shape. And now that it's been pressed, it's going to stay in that heart shape. From here, we're just going to need to put some type of a closure on here. And I really love using just these good old-fashioned two-piece snaps. So I'm going to sew that one side on and then figure out where it's going to go and sew on that second side. So this particular pattern I have so it fits on a piece of paper so that you can make this out of a 10-inch square. But you can make these any size, and it's really easy to do. And we're going to start with the square and fold it in half. And fold it in half again. All of the edges are folded here. We have those 4 loose corners here, and fold it on the diagonal. And then take that one top corner and fold it one more time over. So we have a little piece like this. This edge and this edge are now the same size, so you can just cut that little point off. So we sort of have that kite shape. And flip that back and finish cutting your heart shape. Now when we open that up, we have those 4 hearts. We just need to add a little tab, and that's how we end up with this shape. So it can be made in any size. It could go very big or really small. And when it's folded up, it would be really small. We just need to sew it the same way as the larger one. So these little hearts are fun to make, and you really can make them in any size depending on what you are going to use them for. I'll put a link in the description to the pattern that I have, but of course you can make them in any size that you would like. And thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I do have a newsletter. It's all free under Sew Very Easy. And be sure to make every day a Sewtacular day. Bye for now.